A forgotten genius scribbling on cardboard under a flickering streetlight. What could he possibly teach the world's greatest innovator? It's a cold night in Los Angeles, the kind where the air bites your fingers and the city hums with restless energy. Cars zip by, their headlights slicing through the dark. Street vendors shout, selling tacos and hot coffee. People hurry past, wrapped in scarves, their footsteps echoing on the pavement. In the middle of this chaos, on a quiet corner near a rundown diner, sits a man nobody notices. His name is Thomas Reed, and he's not just another homeless guy. He's a scientist, or at least he used to be. Thomas huddles against a brick wall, his thin jacket barely keeping him warm. His beard is scruffy, his hands rough from years on the streets. A tattered backpack rests beside him, stuffed with everything he owns. A few clothes, a cracked water bottle, and a stack of crumpled papers. In front of him, spread out on the sidewalk, is a large piece of cardboard. It's covered in drawings, swirls of ink, arrows, and tiny, neat handwriting. They're not doodles, they're rocket designs, sketched with the precision of a man who once dreamed of touching the stars. His fingers, smudged with dirt, trace the lines as he mutters to himself, lost in a world of equations and ideas. Years ago, Thomas was somebody. He worked in a lab, wore a clean white coat, and led a team building engines for spacecraft. His colleagues called him brilliant. His designs were supposed to make space travel cheaper, faster, better. But dreams don't pay bills. Funding dried up, the project shut down, and Thomas's life unraveled. He lost his job, then his apartment, then his hope. Now, the streets are his home, and this cardboard is his lab. Just keep working, he whispers to himself, his breath fogging in the chilly air. Someone will see it. Someone will care. But who would stop for a homeless man's scribbles? The world moves too fast. People glance at Thomas and look away, assuming he's crazy or lost. He feels their stares, and it stings. I'm still here, he thinks. I'm still me. Every night he fights the urge to give up. He could toss the cardboard, stop dreaming, and let the streets swallow him whole. But something inside him, a stubborn spark, won't let go. He picks up a pen, stolen from a diner, and adds another line to his design. His hands shake, not just from the cold, but from fear. What if this is all for nothing? The city buzzes around him, loud and uncaring. A group of teenagers laugh nearby, their voices sharp. A siren wails in the distance. Thomas doesn't look up. He's focused, pouring his soul into the sketches. The rocket on his cardboard isn't just a drawing. It's a lifeline. It's the one thing keeping him from disappearing. But as the night grows darker, a question gnaws at him. Will anyone ever notice? Then, out of the corner of his eye, he sees someone stop. A man in jeans and a hoodie, standing just a few feet away, staring at the cardboard. Thomas freezes. His heart pounds. Is this a trick? A cruel joke? Or could this stranger be the one person who sees what Thomas has been hiding all along? The stranger steps closer, his shadow falling over Thomas Reed's cardboard. Thomas's heart races, his fingers clutching the pen like a lifeline. The man crouches down, his eyes scanning the rocket sketches. The city's noise, honking cars, distant laughter, fades into a dull hum. Thomas dares to look up. The man's face is familiar, sharp features softened by a curious smile. It's Elon Musk. Elon Musk. The name hits Thomas like a jolt. He's seen him on TV, heard his voice in interviews about Mars and rockets. But here, on this grimy corner, it feels like a dream. Hey, Elon says, his voice calm but piercing. These drawings, did you make them? Thomas nods, his throat dry. Words feel stuck, like they've rusted from disuse. Yeah, he croaks, just ideas. Elon tilts his head, studying the cardboard like it's a blueprint from NASA. They're more than ideas, he says. They're good. Really good. Thomas blinks, unsure if he heard right. For years, no one cared. Now this? What's your name? Elon asks. Thomas Reed, he mumbles, waiting for the moment this all falls apart. Elon pulls out a business card, the edges crisp and white. Come to SpaceX tomorrow, Thomas. 9 a.m. Bring your sketches. I want to hear more. Thomas takes the card, his hands trembling. He wants to believe it, but doubt claws at him. Why me? Why now? Elon stands, gives a nod, and walks away, blending into the city's chaos. Thomas stares at the card, its weight heavier than it should be. For the first time in years, hope flickers in his chest. But hope is dangerous. It's betrayed him before. That night, Thomas barely sleeps. He huddles in an alley, the business card tucked inside his jacket. His mind races. What if I mess this up? What if they laugh at me? The sketches, his only treasure, feel fragile now, like they could crumble under scrutiny. By dawn, he's up, his legs aching as he treks across the city to SpaceX's headquarters. The building looms ahead, all glass and steel, a fortress of innovation. Thomas feels small, his worn shoes and tattered backpack screaming, he doesn't belong. People in sleek suits brush past him, their eyes sliding over him like he's invisible. At the entrance, a security guard stops him. Name? The guard asks, his tone flat. Thomas fumbles with the card. Thomas Reed. Elon Musk. He told me to come. The guard raises an eyebrow, skeptical. Wait here. Minutes drag by, each one heavier than the last. Thomas's stomach twists. What if Elon forgot? What if it was a mistake? Just as he's about to turn away, a young woman in a SpaceX badge appears. Mr. Reed, follow me. Relief floods him, but it's short-lived. She leads him through gleaming halls where engineers huddle over screens and rocket models tower like giants. Thomas's awe battles his fear. This world feels too big, too far from the streets. They reach a conference room. Elon is there, leaning back in a chair, surrounded by a team of engineers. Their faces are sharp, focused, and unimpressed. Thomas, Elon says, standing, show us what you've got. Thomas sets his cardboard on the table, its edges curling under the bright lights. The engineers lean in, but their whispers feel like knives. One engineer, a woman with glasses, speaks first. These are creative, she says, her tone polite but cold. But they're rough, unproven. Another, an older man, crosses his arms. We're working on real projects here. This is just theoretical. Thomas's face burns. He tries to explain, his voice shaky. It's a new way to cool engines during re-entry. It could save fuel, make launches cheaper. The older engineer cuts him off. Ideas are easy. Making them work is hard. The room falls silent. Elon watches, saying nothing, his expression unreadable. Thomas feels the walls closing in. They think I'm a fraud. His past crashes over him, losing his job, his home, his dignity. He wants to run, to disappear back to the streets where no one expects anything from him. But his sketches stare back from the table, begging him to fight. I know it's not perfect, he says, his voice cracking. But I've spent years on this. Give me a chance to prove it. The engineers exchange glances, unconvinced. Elon finally speaks. Let's test one idea. Small scale. Thomas, you'll work with the team. One engineer, a woman with glasses, speaks first. These are creative, she says, her tone polite but cold. But they're rough, unproven. Another, an older man, crosses his arms. We're working on real projects here. This is just theoretical. Thomas's face burns. He tries to explain, his voice shaky. It's a new way to... The next week is a blur of pressure. Thomas is given a desk in a buzzing lab, but he's an outsider. The engineers are polite but distant, their doubts loud in their silence. He overhears them whispering. A homeless guy? Seriously? Elon's wasting time. Every mistake Thomas makes, misreading a screen, fumbling a tool, feels like proof they're right. His skills are rusty, his confidence crumbling. At night, he crashes in a shelter, his mind replaying their words. I'm not good enough. I never was. One morning, disaster strikes. Thomas arrives to find his cardboard sketches gone. Panic grips him. "Where are they?" he asks a lab tech, his voice rising. The tech shrugs. "Janitor might have tossed them. Looked like trash." Thomas's world spins. Those sketches were his life, his proof he's more than a nobody. He searches the lab, the trash bins, the halls. Nothing. Despair crashes in. It's over. He sinks into a chair, head in his hands, ready to give up. Cool engines during re-entry. It could save fuel, make launches cheaper. The older engineer cuts him off. Ideas are easy. Making them work is hard. The room falls silent. Elon watches, saying nothing, his expression unreadable. Thomas feels the walls closing in. They think I'm a fraud. His past crashes over him, losing his job, his home, his dignity. He wants to run, to disappear back to the streets where no one expects anything from him. But his sketches stare back from the table, begging him to fight. "I know it's not perfect," he says, his voice cracking. "But I've spent years on this. Give me a chance to prove it." The engineers exchange glances, unconvinced. Elon finally speaks. "Let's test one idea. Small scale. Thomas, you'll work with the team." Then, a voice breaks through. "Thomas, you okay?" It's Elon, standing in the doorway, holding a folder. Thomas looks up, his eyes burning. "My sketches. They're gone. I've got nothing left." Elon's gaze sharpens. He opens the folder, revealing printed copies of Thomas's designs. "You're wrong," Elon says. "You've got something they can't take away. But there's a bigger problem." He pauses, his voice low. "Someone doesn't want your ideas to see the light of day, and I think I know why." Thomas Reed sits alone in the SpaceX lab, the hum of machines mocking his silence. His hands tremble, gripping the edge of the desk. The printed copies of his sketches lie in front of him, saved by Elon, but they feel like ghosts of his dreams. "Someone doesn't want your ideas to see the light of day," Elon had said. The words burn in Thomas's mind, heavy with a truth he can't grasp. Who? Why? The lab's fluorescent lights buzz overhead, harsh and unforgiving, making his eyes sting. He's exhausted, body and soul. The streets taught him to survive, but this feels like drowning. For weeks, Thomas has poured everything into proving himself. Late nights hunched over computers, his fingers clumsy on keyboards he hasn't touched in years. Endless questions from engineers who barely hide their doubts. Every step forward feels like climbing a mountain, only to slip back down. Now this, a shadow working against him. His sketches, his lifeline, were nearly erased. It wasn't an accident, he thinks. The janitor's shrug, the engineer's cold stares, it all feels like a conspiracy to keep him small, invisible. The weight of it crushes him. I'm nobody here. I've always been nobody. His mind spirals back to the past. The lab he lost. The family he couldn't hold on to. His daughter's face, blurry now, haunts him. "You'll do big things, Dad," she'd said once, her voice so sure. He'd believed her then. Now he's just a man in borrowed clothes, failing again. His chest tightens, each breath sharp and shallow. The lab blurs as tears threaten to spill. Why did I think I could do this? He wants to run, back to the streets, where no one expects him to be more than a shadow. The cardboard was enough there. It was safe. He stands, legs shaky, ready to walk out. His backpack slumps by the desk, a reminder of the life waiting for him outside. But as he reaches for it, something stops him. A faint scribble on the corner of the printed sketch catches his eye. It's not his handwriting. It's a note, barely legible, scrawled in red ink. Keep going. You're closer than you think. Thomas freezes. His heart pounds, not with fear now, but with something else. Curiosity. The note feels like a lifeline tossed to him in the dark. Who wrote this? One of the engineers? Elon? Or someone else watching from the shadows? He sinks back into the chair, staring at the note. His exhaustion doesn't vanish, but it shifts. The spark he thought was dead flickers, faint but stubborn. What if I'm not alone? The idea feels dangerous, reckless even, but it's enough to keep him from leaving. He flips through the printed sketches, his eyes tracing the lines he's drawn 1,000 times. They're still his, still alive, and someone believes in them. Footsteps echo behind him. Thomas turns, tense, half expecting another cold stare. It's Sarah, the engineer with glasses who called his work creative, but doubted it. She's alone, her expression softer than before. "You're still here," she says, almost surprised. Thomas nods, unsure what to say. She hesitates, then steps closer. "I was wrong about you," she says, her voice low. "Your cooling system idea, we ran a simulation today. It worked. Better than anything we've got." Thomas's breath catches. Worked. He searches her face for a trick, but her eyes are steady. "Why tell me now?" he asks, his voice rough. Sarah glances at the door like she's checking for listeners. "Because not everyone here wants you to succeed," she whispers. "Your design could change everything, and that scares some people." She slides a USB drive across the desk. "The simulation data. Keep it safe. Show it to Elon tomorrow. Don't let them bury this." Before Thomas can respond, she's gone, her footsteps fading into the lab's hum. Thomas stares at the USB drive, small but heavy in his palm. His heart races, hope and fear colliding. The note, Sarah's words, the data, it's all too much. He's not just fighting his own doubts now. There's a bigger battle, one he doesn't fully understand. But for the first time, he feels it. He's not just a nobody. His ideas matter. And someone out there is trying to stop them. As he clutches the drive, a new question burns inside him. Who's afraid of my dreams, and what are they hiding? Tomorrow he'll face Elon and the team. Tomorrow he'll fight. But tonight, under the lab's harsh lights, Thomas Reed makes a choice. He's done running. The SpaceX lab is eerily quiet, the hum of machines a faint pulse in the early morning. Thomas Reed sits at his desk, the USB drive clutched in his sweaty palm. His eyes are bloodshot, his body aching from a sleepless night spent wrestling with questions. Who's trying to stop me? What are they hiding? The red-inked note, "Keep going. You're closer than you think," sits beside the printed sketches, its words both a comfort and a taunt. Sarah's warning echoes in his mind. Not everyone here wants you to succeed. The USB drive, heavy with simulation data, feels like a bomb waiting to go off. Today, he'll show it to Elon. Today, he'll prove his worth, or lose everything. The lab begins to stir. Engineers trickle in, their voices low, their glances sharp. Thomas feels their eyes on him like vultures circling. His heart pounds, each beat a reminder of how fragile this moment is. He slips the USB drive into his pocket, his fingers brushing against Elon's business card, still tucked in his jacket. "You've got something they can't take away," Elon had said. But what if they already have? The thought tightens his chest, his breath shallow. He's so close to redemption, yet so far from safe. Elon arrives, his presence cutting through the lab's tension like a blade. "Thomas," he calls, striding toward him. Ready to show us what that data says? Thomas nods, his throat dry. The engineers gather in the conference room, their laptops open, their faces unreadable. Sarah is there, but her eyes avoid his, her expression guarded. The older engineer, the one who called his work theoretical, leans back in his chair, arms crossed. Thomas feels the room closing in, the air thick with doubt. He plugs the USB drive into a laptop, his hands trembling. The screen flickers, then displays the simulation results. Lines and graphs dance across it, showing his cooling system's performance. The numbers are staggering. Better fuel efficiency? Lower engine stress? The room falls silent, the only sound the faint whir of the projector. Thomas's voice shakes as he explains. This could cut launch costs by millions. It's simple, but it works. He waits, his pulse roaring in his ears. Please, see it. Believe it. Sarah nods slightly, but the older engineer scoffs. Impressive numbers, he says, his tone icy. But simulations aren't reality. We've seen flashy data before. Thomas's stomach drops. They're burying it. Before he can respond, Elon leans forward, his eyes locked on the screen. Hold on, he says. This isn't just good. It's revolutionary. But something's off. He turns to Thomas, his voice low. Where did you get this data? Thomas hesitates, sensing a trap. Sarah gave it to me, he says, glancing at her. Her face pales, her eyes wide. The room erupts in whispers. The older engineer stands, his voice sharp. That's impossible. That simulation was run on a secure server. No one outside my team had access. Thomas's blood runs cold. Secure server? His mind races. Sarah's warning, the missing sketches, the note, it all clicks. Someone's been sabotaging him, and the truth is about to explode. Elon's gaze shifts to the older engineer. Care to explain, Marcus? The engineer, Marcus, stiffens, his jaw tight. There's nothing to explain. He's lying. Or she is. Sarah's voice cuts through, trembling but firm. I'm not lying. I found the simulation buried in a locked folder. Someone didn't want it seen. She points at Marcus. You've been blocking Thomas's work from the start. Why? The room freezes. Thomas's heart stops. Marcus, the man who dismissed him, who called his ideas worthless. Memories flash. Marcus's cold stares, his sharp interruptions. He threw out my sketches. The revelation hits like a punch. Marcus wasn't just skeptical, he was threatened. Thomas's design could outshine years of his work, maybe even cost him his position. The betrayal stings, raw and deep. All this time, I thought I was the problem. Thomas's hands clench into fists, his nails biting into his palms. Anger surges, hot and fierce, but beneath it, something else blooms. Clarity. He's not invisible anymore. His ideas are real, and they're dangerous enough to scare someone like Marcus. The weight of years on the streets, the pain of being forgotten, fuels him now. I'm done being small. His voice, steady for the first time, breaks the silence. You tried to erase me, he says, staring at Marcus. But I'm still here, and I'm not stopping. Marcus's face twists, but Elon raises a hand. Enough, he says, his voice like steel. Marcus, we'll talk later. Thomas, your design moves forward, today. The engineers murmur, some shocked, others nodding. Sarah exhales, relief flickering in her eyes. Thomas feels the room shift, the tide turning. But his anger lingers, tempered by a new fire. He's not just fighting for himself anymore. He's fighting for every dream the world tried to crush. As the meeting ends, Thomas makes a choice. He won't let Marcus, or anyone, bury him again. He grabs the USB drive, his sketches, and a new resolve. This is my chance. My daughter's voice in my head. She was right. He steps out of the room, his shoulders squared, ready to face whatever comes next. But as he walks down the hall, a shadow moves behind him. Someone watching, waiting. The fight isn't over, and Thomas knows it's only just begun. The SpaceX lab pulses with urgency, a hive of flashing screens and frantic voices. Thomas Reed stands at the heart of it, his hands steady despite the storm raging inside him. The prototype engine, built from his cardboard sketches, hums on a test rig, its sleek metal gleaming under harsh lights. Today is the final test, a live simulation that could prove his cooling system's worth or bury his dreams forever. The stakes are brutal. If it fails, Marcus's sabotage wins, Thomas's credibility crumbles, and his chance at redemption vanishes. If it succeeds, his design could redefine space travel, and he'll finally be someone again. His daughter's voice echoes in his mind. "You'll do big things, Dad." He can't let her down. The lab is packed. Engineers crowd around, their faces tense. Elon Musk stands near the control panel, his eyes sharp, scanning every detail. Sarah, the engineer who risked everything to back Thomas, hovers nearby, her fingers tapping nervously. Marcus is there too, his arms crossed, a smug glint in his eyes. Thomas feels his stare like a blade. He's waiting for me to fail. The memory of his sketches being tossed, of years on the streets, fuels a fire in his chest. Not today. The test begins. A technician calls out, "Ignition in 10 seconds." Thomas's heart slams against his ribs. He glances at the prototype, its pipes and valves a physical echo of his sleepless nights. "Please work." The room falls silent, the air thick with anticipation. 5, 4, 3. The engine roars to life, a deep guttural sound that shakes the floor. Flames burst from the exhaust, controlled but fierce. Data streams across the screens, temperature, pressure, fuel flow. Thomas's eyes dart between the numbers, his breath caught in his throat. At first it's perfect. The cooling system kicks in, keeping the engine's temperature steady. Cheers erupt from a few engineers. Sarah exhales, a smile breaking through. Elon nods, his expression unreadable but intense. Thomas feels a flicker of hope, his hands unclenching. It's working. But then a red warning flashes on the main screen. "Temperature spike," a technician shouts. The engine's heat is climbing, fast, too fast. The room explodes into chaos. Engineers scramble, barking commands. "Shut it down!" someone yells. Thomas freezes, his world tilting. Number not now. He pushes through the crowd, his voice raw. "Don't stop it! Let it run!" The technicians hesitate, looking to Elon. Marcus steps forward, his voice cutting. "It's overheating! He's going to blow the whole rig! Shut it down!" Thomas spins on him, fury boiling over. "You did this, didn't you?" he snaps. "You tampered with it." Marcus's face hardens, but he doesn't deny it. The accusation hangs in the air, heavy and electric. Elon raises a hand. "Thomas, can you fix it?" His voice is calm, but his eyes demand an answer. Thomas's mind races, panic clawing at him. The engine's whine grows shrill, a warning of catastrophic failure. He thinks of the streets, the cold nights, the years of being nothing. I'm not nothing. He grabs a tablet, pulling up the system's schematics. His fingers fly, tracing the cooling system's design, his design. A memory sparks, a flaw he'd noticed in the prototype's valve settings, something Marcus had insisted was fine. He sabotaged it. Thomas's hands shake, but his voice is steady. "Adjust the secondary valve to 60%, now." Sarah relays the command, her trust in him unwavering. The technician hesitates, then types furiously. The engine's roar stutters, then steadies. The temperature gauge slows, then drops. The red warning fades. The room holds its breath. Data pours in. The engine is stable, running cooler and more efficiently than any model before it. A stunned silence follows, then a single shout. "It's holding!" The lab erupts in cheers. Engineers high-five, their skepticism shattered. Sarah grins, tears in her eyes. Elon claps Thomas on the shoulder, his voice low. "You did it!" Thomas stands frozen, the noise washing over him. His chest heaves, his eyes burning. "I did it." The weight of years, loss, shame, invisibility, lifts, replaced by something raw and alive. He's not just a homeless man anymore. He's a scientist, a creator, a man who changed the game. His daughter's face flashes in his mind, clearer now, and he knows she'd be proud. But his eyes find Marcus, who's slipping toward the door, his face pale. He won't get away with this. Elon steps forward, addressing the room. "This engine is a breakthrough. Thomas's design goes into production, and Marcus..." His voice hardens. "We'll deal with you separately." Marcus freezes, caught, as security moves in. Thomas watches, his anger cooling into resolve. He's won this battle, but it's more than a test. It's a promise. To himself, to his daughter, to the stars he's always chased. As the lab celebrates, Thomas steps back, clutching his sketches. The engine hums, a steady heartbeat. For the first time in years, he feels whole. He looks up, imagining the sky beyond the ceiling, the stars waiting. This is just the beginning. What if someone saw them too? The question isn't just for him, it's for everyone watching, everyone who's ever felt forgotten. Thomas's journey wasn't just about rockets. It was about fighting to be seen, to matter, to prove that no one is too lost to change the world. He takes a deep breath, the cool air filling his lungs. The stars above seem to pulse, a reminder of the work ahead. His design will fly, maybe to Mars, maybe beyond, and he'll be there, not as a ghost of who he was, but as a man reborn. The lab's lights glow behind him, a beacon of what's possible. Thomas smiles, small but real, and steps back inside, ready for whatever comes next. One spark can light up the darkest sky.